Welcome to another PvP review. Today we're looking at the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now I've had this phone since launch day, so I've had it for about a week now, and I thought rather than a straight review it would be more of a how have my impressions been having had it for a week, like living with it for a week as a daily driver, and gotta say, very good, very good. As someone who is a fan of large screens, great displays, excellent cameras and the versatility of a good stylus, I'd be very tempted to award the S22 Ultra with the title of best smartphone around. Obviously it isn't, and much like everything else, everyone's preference for a smartphone is different, and because of that the S22 Ultra will divide people. If you hadn't noticed, this thing is absolutely huge, like shockingly so. But there's a good reason for that. Most notably, the 6.8-inch AMOLED screen is glorious, and it's probably one of, if not the best displays on a smartphone that I've ever seen. It supports up to WQHD+, 3088 by 1440 pixels at 500 ppi. For contrast, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is 458 ppi on its 6.7-inch 2778 by 1080 display. The adaptive screen refresh shifts smoothly between 1Hz and 120Hz, and with a peak brightness of 1750 nits coupled with Samsung's new Vision Booster technology, and what you have is, like I say, probably one of the best displays on a smartphone, if not the best display on a smartphone that I have seen. Now, hidden under here is a fingerprint scanner, right there, and it's very fast, very fast. And then up top, we have the punch out hole. Let's zoom in there. There we go. Punch out hole for the 40 meg camera up on the front. Now on the back, also I'm using one of the new speaking cases, and it's glorious. Mostly because you can protect your camera lenses. Isn't that fancy? As you can see, there's 5 lenses there. There's actually 4 cameras. And then that one with the little red dot, that's actually a laser dot for autofocus, and it's friggin' fantastic, and I love it. Let's get it in view there. There we go. Beautiful. Surrounding the creme de la creme of displays is a solid armor aluminium body, and the phone sports 2 Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus plates. While some might not like the boxy design, I think it looks gorgeous, and a more aggressive design shows off the screen far better than a more rounded angle could. The top of the device is generally an unbroken slice of metal with just a tiny pinhole for the microphone, while the bottom is home to the USB-C port, SIM tray, speaker grill, and now the S Pen. So if you wasn't aware, Samsung have retired the Note range, and they've kind of gone with a hybrid of the S series and the Note series, which we now know is the Ultra. So down at the bottom, where are we? Down at the bottom, you have got this little hidey hole for your S Pen, and the best bit by far, if the screen and everything else wasn't enough, the pen has got a click. So you can annoy everyone. I love it. It's a good little fidget thing. And then that tucks away nicely and neatly in there, out the way. Now, I like having a stylus. I like doing drawing. I like taking notes and just using it for general day-to-day stuff. Not everyone does, and that may be kind of put off point for some people, and I know some people don't like massive screens, so again that'll be a big put off for some people. But if you are after the most powerful version of the S22 and the largest S22 with the best screen on an S22 with an S Pen, this is the one that you're going to go for. Now I understand it's not for everyone, and whilst I'm a big believer in massive screens, others are not, and luckily Samsung are aware of this, which is why for this launch there's a choice of 3 devices in the S22 range: the Galaxy S22, the S22 Plus, and the S22 Ultra. So you have a choice of 3 depending on your design, screen and power craving. I'm not going to go with the ins and outs of everything else comparing the 3 devices, so it'll be up on the screen like now. Now, the S22 Ultra runs Android 12 with Samsung's One UI on top, so there's no more TouchWiz. Now, I haven't used a Samsung device as a daily driver for quite a while, but I hated TouchWiz with a passion. It was awful. One UI I do quite like. It's very close to stock Android, and you don't get a lot of bloatware or like pre-installed on here, but what you do get are duplicates, so you get a lot of Stuff like, so you've got Google Messages, but you've also got Samsung Messages, you've got Google Chrome, but you've also got Samsung Internet. So it's stuff like that. You can disable them and whatnot as well if you need to, but they're mostly untroublesome. But dependent where you are in the world will depend on what version of the Ultra you get, most specifically the insides. Now, you will either get a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or an Exynos 2200 chip inside. So for the UK and Europe, places like that, you'll get Exynos. For America, you will get the Snapdragon 8. Why Samsung do this, I don't know. But both the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and the Exynos 2200 are manufactured on a 4nm production process and feature an octa-core CPU with the same based 1+3+4 core configuration. So whichever version you get, you'll be treated to a Cortex x2 Prime core, 3 Cortex A71 cores, and 4 Cortex A51 Now, as I said, I'm in the UK, so I get the Exynos 2200 version, and I don't have a Snapdragon counterpart in order to compare the two and see how different they are in terms of speed, power, processing, and that kind of thing. If I manage to get my hands on one, then obviously I'll update this review, but until then, I can't! So the S22 Ultra's array of 5 lenses round out the mostly empty back of the phone. And because of this, the phone doesn't only feel premium because of the materials used, but it looks really minimalistic, and it adds a rather classy look to it. There are 2 10 megapixel telephoto lenses, each with different focal and field of views. And as well as that, there's a 12 megapixel ultra wide with a 120 degree field of view, and then there's a 108 megapixel main wide camera, then that has an 85 degree field of view. Now, while the image sensors haven't changed since the S21 Ultra, Samsung's been hard at work upgrading the optical image stabilization, digital image stabilization, and image processing. The result, obviously, is a better performance from all lenses, but the biggest boost is more noticeable in the zoom area. The S22 Ultra zoom capabilities blow every other phone camera out of the water by a landslide. The 3x and 10x optical are not only great, but they allow for fantastic photos that are clear and pixel free, while the 30x and 100x allow for shockingly great photos that look good, albeit with some artifacting, but they do give you a chance to get great close-up shots of the moon if you wanted to. This is all done via the stabilization that kicks in where the phone essentially takes control of the lens to hold the subject, i.e. the moon, and it keeps it in frame. The wide and ultra wide also get some pixel wizardry with Samsung's new adaptive pixel, where the phone will take 9 pixels of information and combine them to get better color and contrast, and then merges them with a full resolution shot. Assisting there is that 5th lens, which, as I mentioned, is a autofocus sensor. If you look at it closely, when in use, you'll see a little laser peeking out from behind the glass. You can also shoot high quality 4K video at 60 frames per second and up to 8K at 24 frames per second. Results are excellent, but a little less than smooth at 8K, but absolutely usable. So the biggest question is, do I recommend the S22 Ultra? Yes and no. If you want the best possible version of the S22, 100% get this phone. If you're not a fan of large screens, and you know it's quite a heavy device as well, you're not going to use an S Pen, and you're not too fussed about taking close-ups of the moon, then probably not. But for you know, if you want a massively powerful phone with the best display on the market, 100% get it. So if you want to see more, head over to podcastversusplayer.com. We got more reviews, more let's plays, more podcasts, more of everything and everything that you possibly want or don't want, depending on the reasons that you're here. See you in a bit. Bye.
Callum, you are a police officer. You cannot do that. No, Callum, put the gun away, for God's sake.
Can I lean out the car and shoot?
No. No, Callum.
What if I
It'll
suspect
just end it for you. You cannot do it.
What if I suspect
Callum,
doing something?
Fucking listen to me.
Our car is on fire, Dan. Dan, he's
Oh,
fleeing.
they're fleeing, Callum.
He's fleeing.
Get a taser out. Callum, get the taser. Get the taser. Get the taser.
What
Now's
number's
the time.
taser?
Breathe a pistol. Number 2, and then point it down. No, I said don't shoot him unless he refuses to stop.
He did refuse.
You can have a look at this car
That man
here.
just littered.
A triangle overhead.
Him.
There.
Get the fuck here. I'll tase him, Dan.
Oh, he's fleeing.
He's
Callum,
fleeing.
pull that taser on him. Make him stop. Please freeze.
Freeze.
Oh, he
Shoot
froze.
ya.
He froze. That's it.
Show me your ID, you fucking scum.
Oh, she's fleeing.
She's fleeing,
Freeze.
Dad. Get
Freeze. I taser. I'm not having any of
I
that.
tased her.